Good morning.
Morning.
There is so much to talk about with you. I feel like you've had such a great run through the show. I mean, 57 days.
Yeah.
That's a huge run in the show.
Yeah.
I guess let's start with that.
Yeah.
What was it like going through 57 days on the show?
Well, it's a long time, isn't it? It's a long time. When I went on Love Island, I thought maybe I'd be there for a week or something. I didn't expect to be there so long because you go into isolation for 1 week before, then you go into the show. So I was started as an original, if you like, and then the whole journey apart from the final. So you become very much immersed in the atmosphere and the bubble that is Love Island. The villa becomes your home, and you actually forget there's a world outside, which is strange actually, but it does happen.
And when you're in it that long, what's the third week like versus the second to the end?
I think the first few days particularly is kind of just getting used to the place, and you're very much like, oh my gosh, I don't want to breathe wrong because it'll go on camera and everyone will see it or whatever. And then you kind of settle in, like in the first kind of 2 or 3 weeks, you're like, this is cool, I'm very relaxed, I'm comfortable. I say comfortable, obviously there's stuff going on every day that throws you out of the comfort zone, but in general. And then towards the end of the show, I think there is a part of you that's like, I'm kind of ready to kind of go home. I don't want to go home because I want to continue the show, but also want to go home. So it's a weird paradox, I guess, particularly because you miss your family and friends. But I had a great time. I loved it, and I was sad when I left, even though it was obviously only just before the final.
What was the best part of being on the show? Because I'm sure there's quite a few benefits, obviously, and I talked to a couple of the other guys, and it is interesting to hear their different contrast, I guess you could say, between what they enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I love the kind of friendships and stuff, really. What's amazing, I guess the beauty of Love Island, is that you can have all these people go in from different backgrounds, different interests, different careers, and you will find connections with people that you wouldn't expect it. Like for my series, me and Jack are probably polar opposites as what you'd put as a type of person, if you like. But we're like best mates because you just find those connections with people that you wouldn't always cross paths with, and I love that. That's probably the best thing I think about the show. Did
you stay friends with a bunch of people from the show?
Yeah, so like Josh, I think you had on the show. Jack particularly, Sam, Adam, I think might be coming out shortly with you guys as well.
Yeah.
And then a couple of the girls as well. So yeah, I stayed friends with a few of them. Not everyone. I mean, I think it was nearly 40 people that came in the island.
Right.
So
there's quite a few.
Not everyone.
What would you say is the worst thing?
The worst thing about the show, I think. Probably the worst thing is when you come off the show and the social media aspect and the kind of trolling and that you get with this kind of platform. But it's learning to deal with that and use your platform for a positive thing is most important. Like I'm an ER doctor in the UK, so my kind of goal is to use the platform to talk about health, particularly to a younger generation, and try and be like a relatable face for that. So that's what you use it for, and I try and remain positive in that way. But sometimes it is difficult when you have people commenting how you look or what you're doing or who you're dating or who you're not dating, so yeah.
And it feels too like the show is very much, it's like an extension of social media.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah. It feeds perfectly into social media, doesn't it?
In the best and worst ways, right?
Yeah. A show airs and within even the show hasn't even finished and there's memes already being pulled from the clips, so it just feeds into social media perfectly. Actually, the way that Love Island, I guess, enters everyone's life is partly as well through social media. Like, a show will air and the next day there's clips towards the next show and social media, and everyone's commenting on that, and then as people come off the show they enter that conversation. So yeah, it does blow out into this big social media storm, I guess.
And I'm going to ask you an unfair question, but do you feel like you were basically one of the smartest people in your season? Because I mean, I think there's a lot of great people in that season, but to say that a doctor amongst the rest, I mean,
there was I think there's loads of different ways to be intelligent. But in terms of academics, I mean, I guess I was probably one of the more academic people on the show, should we say? But I really enjoyed being with the people on there, and everyone has something different to bring, and people have talents their own kind of way. I mean, like Samira is a great singer, Zara is a great singer. I can't sing, so everyone has something they can bring to the table, which is what I liked.
Very true. So now coming, after the show.
Yeah.
I understand you actually met the love of your life after the show.
We'll see if she's a love. Yeah, you should be careful saying that, isn't it? Yeah. No, I mean, I met Amelia, so my girlfriend, after the show, and she's like really lovely, really down to earth, which is exactly what I wanted on the show as well. And she keeps me grounded in a lot of ways. She gives me tellings off when I do stuff wrong, and I like that, and I want someone that's real, and that's what I've been very fortunate to find, so hopefully it will continue.
Is it difficult dating after the show? Because obviously she knows a lot about you already.
It is difficult. What's difficult is that you don't have the same privacy, partly because, I let everyone into my life through social media, through Instagram, so by that, same token, you're sharing everything with people. So I don't have a problem with that, but it can make relationships difficult because you're trying to grow something organic, but then you're not sometimes giving yourself the space. And there's definitely more pressure, because especially when you maybe announce stuff and say, we're going out together, you're like, if this goes wrong, we're going to have a real breakup in front of everyone, which is not what you want. But thankfully, touch wood, there's a wood around here, things are going well so far, and we've dealt with it. I think we've learned to deal with it quite well.
And it's hard because you became basically an instant celebrity, which is unheard of these days, really, outside of shows like this, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's unusual to go from someone who had no media platform whatsoever. I had 200 followers to Instagram to like 1.4 million, like in a 9 weeks or 10 weeks. It's crazy, and it's a lot to deal with as well. I found it very strange for at least 3 or 4 weeks that people would be like, all right, Alex, how are you doing? Like, would just like speak to me. I'd be like, I don't remember meeting you before, but it's not because they've met you before. But that's a very weird concept to get used to, I think.
Well, then I love the fact that you've taken this platform and you're using it for good. I mean, I've read a lot about the things that you're doing in terms of, positive self-image and mental health and everything else.
Thank you.
What, how do you get to that point after the show? What did it take to say, I'm going to do this?
I came off the show and I saw two kind of routes. At first, I guess I should say, I didn't apply to go on Love Island. I loved the show the year before, absolutely loved it. I never applied, and I was very afraid to go on the show because I didn't want to damage my career. I love my job.
Right.
So when I came off the show, I was like, well, I'm going to go back to work as a doctor part-time. And with this platform, either I go down the route of selling teeth whitening kits and trainers, or I try and use it for something positive. And I made a conscious decision to do that. I haven't done any, I'm the only Love Islander from the UK who hasn't done club personal appearances, haven't done a single one. And that's because I didn't want to damage people's belief in my word and my kind of profession, if you like, because I wanted to be someone that people could trust. So that's been a focus, and I think mental health is such an important thing. I experienced like a lot of sides of mental health going on the show and after the show, and I felt like being able to share that journey and share some of those experiences both professionally and just from my experience in life, I thought would be helpful. So I've got my podcast and things that I've released.
Right.
And, I love all that. I absolutely love it. So yeah, it's been very fortunate for me. I've enjoyed the journey.
Have you had people coming up to you after the show and saying, thank you for doing this because it's helped me in this way?
That's what's been incredible. The most incredible things I've had are the feedback from some of the things I've done. Like, for example, my podcast, The Waiting Room, done quite a few episodes about mental health, and there's one in particular I did, and someone said to me that they essentially were wanting to take their own life, but had listened to the episode and felt that because they could relate to me, and they felt, actually, if he's so open to talking about mental health, why can't I do it? And they asked for help, and now they're on the road to recovery. So it's potentially a life saved.
And that's just one person who's reached out.
And then loads of the people I messaged on Instagram, I had a DM yesterday, actually, I was talking to Harry, my manager, about it, and this person had said, how much it helped them, and they related to it, and they felt like it was boosting them. And I think that's not, I'm not saying that in an arrogant point of view. We're just a couple of people in a room talking about some issues that we all share, but when people feel like they can relate and that their problem isn't just them, it does help, I think. So yeah, I've loved that.
That's so cool. Well, what else are you doing now? What comes next for you? Because obviously you've got the podcast and things, but MasterChef.
Yeah, MasterChef.
I wanted to learn MasterChef. That is amazing.
Yeah, MasterChef's cool. It's cool.
Have you been a cook previously?
Yeah, well, I love food. I absolutely love food of all kinds. And I was through med school. I had to cook for myself, right? So I do enjoy both cooking, and I've become much more health conscious of my food now the last few years than I used to when I was younger. Part of like understanding and being a doctor, I was like, right now I'm actually going through my 20s. I need to make sure I look after my body. So I wanted to go on the show and kind of demonstrate that, and that's what I'm going to try and do on MasterChef.
That's so cool.
So yeah, I'm excited to go on there, but it's juggling a lot of things because I'm still doing ER part time. I've got the podcast. I've launched a YouTube channel. newsletter, and as well as doing the TV doctor bits and pieces as well. So it is a lot of juggling, but I'm enjoying it. I'm very grateful. I'm lucky to have the platform I have, and yeah, I'll enjoy it and work hard as hard as I can.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.